Now, Missouri Congressman Mark Alford is in Milwaukee ahead of the Republican National Convention and joins us now over the phone to give us some perspective on that situation.
Mark, one of the biggest concerns people have right now is safety. We're less than 24 hours out from the first day of RNC. You're there right now in Milwaukee. So what are you seeing around the city security-wise, and how do you think yesterday's shooting will affect logistics this week?
Well, thanks for having me on. Yeah, Leslie and I got into Milwaukee yesterday afternoon right before the assassination attempt on President Trump in Pennsylvania. The first thing we noticed when we came into the hotel here, we are not inside the secure perimeter area, but we have plenty of Capitol Police here. There are going to be many congressmen and women staying at the same hotel we are at. The Sergeant of Arms is here staying in our hotel. They have been here working feverishly to make sure that we are safe. Leslie and I brought our bicycles with us, and we rode around the town of Milwaukee, went over to preview where we are going to be starting tomorrow at the convention center, and the security is already very, very tight, especially with the attempted assassination of President Trump. I think we're going to see even more security here. There are planned protests. We had been briefed by the Capitol Police while we were in Washington that there are going to be at least 3 planned protests here. I think they're very concerned at this point about those proceeding. But we do have, First Amendment rights in the United States of America and the right to protest.
Congressman Alford, you were kind enough to speak to us last night in the moments after the shooting, in the first couple of hours after the shooting. We talked to you via Zoom, and you told our reporter, Abby Dodge, rhetoric has gotten too heated in America. We've got to tone it down. Those are your words. In your time in Congress, you have been a vocal critic of President Biden and a vocal supporter of President Trump. How possible is toning it down at this point? That's what you're calling for, and that's what you're not alone in calling for that. Are we even capable as Americans anymore at this point of toning it down, especially after an assassination attempt?
Well, I think we are. I think what I've attempted to do as a former journalist and someone who believes in America and believes in our republic and believes, look, that if you are in politics, if you are representing people, you have every right to represent them how they want you to represent them. You're to be their voice and their vote in Congress, especially. What I'm saying is that we have to be responsible in how we talk about things. I think it is highly irresponsible for the current president of the United States, Joseph Biden, to say on a phone call to donors that it's time to put Donald Trump in the bullseye. Now, I'm sure he wasn't intending for that to get out. I'm sure that had nothing to do with what happened yesterday. But that sort of slippage of the tongue, that irresponsible rhetoric is what I'm talking about. And look, we have people on our side as well, on the Republican side, who, look, we are very adamant that President Trump take back the White House. We have to be responsible as well. But when you have the progressive Democrats saying that Donald J. Trump is a threat to democracy, they talk about dog whistles a lot of times. I think that is a dog whistle to those who want to keep Trump out of office at any cost.
Congressman Mark Alford on the phone with us this morning, live from Milwaukee, getting ready for the Republican National Convention. Congressman, thank you for your time again. We appreciate it.
Thank you.